For 2 millennia, the story of Cleopatra has been written by poets describing an exotic seductress whose power relied solely on physical beauty and romance. But the Mediterranean of the 1st century BCE had no room for melodrama. The Roman Republic, fueled by military efficiency, was rapidly expanding its borders, systematically consuming older kingdoms across the east. Standing directly in Rome's path was the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt. It was a deeply entrenched economic powerhouse, holding a massive concentration of raw agricultural wealth along the banks of the Nile. When Cleopatra took the throne at age 18, she inherited a state teetering on bankruptcy. Her father had severely depleted the royal treasury, paying exorbitant bribes to Roman senators just to maintain his grip on the crown. Previous Ptolemaic rulers remained culturally distant, often requiring interpreters to speak to their own subjects. Cleopatra became the first of her line to master the native Egyptian language, allowing her to speak directly to the powerful priesthoods as the living incarnation of the goddess Isis. This cultural bridge transformed a foreign Greek queen into a traditional pharaoh, securing a level of domestic loyalty her predecessors never reached. With her domestic position secured, but her military severely outmatched, she faced constant threats from internal rivals and external armies. Her survival depended entirely on her ability to negotiate with the Roman war machine. Her reign was an exercise in high-stakes diplomacy, carefully navigating the factions of Rome to defend the last independent Mediterranean kingdom from total annexation. This diagram illustrates the layout of ancient Alexandria, the metropolis where Cleopatra was educated. Engineered by the early Ptolemies, the royal palace quarters housed the Mausoleum and the Great Library, functioning as the scientific and intellectual capital of the ancient world. Her ability to speak multiple languages without an interpreter served as a specific tool of imperial rhetoric. It was a calculated display of sovereignty, designed to communicate power across a diverse commonwealth. By publicly conversing in the native tongues of the Ethiopians, Hebrews, and Parthians during grand state rituals, she rhetorically mapped the borders of a vast Eastern empire. This linguistic performance asserted her dominion over a region that rivaled Rome itself. The foundation supporting these political ambitions was her strict control over Egypt's macroeconomic engine. The state operated a highly bureaucratic command economy, designed to maximize the cultivation and export of premium durum wheat and vegetable oil. The physical proof of her intense administrative oversight survives today in a seemingly mundane document known as Papyrus Bingen 45. At the bottom of this tax edict is a single handwritten Greek word. That word is genestoi, meaning make it happen. It is a direct signature granting a highly lucrative tax exemption on imported wine to a Roman ally, demonstrating her executive control over global trade. Her ability to negotiate with foreign generals was entirely rooted in this absolute grip on the financial and agricultural pulse of the Mediterranean. This flowchart maps the geopolitical alliances Cleopatra formed with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. These partnerships were built on mutual necessity. Egypt traded its vast grain reserves and immense treasury for the Roman legions required to crush internal dissent and secure territorial independence. The arrangement was strictly strategic. She provided the agricultural wealth and fiat currency required to fund their Roman civil wars, and they provided the military muscle to maintain her crown. This delicate geopolitical balance finally broke at the Battle of Actium. Octavian bypassed Antony and declared war directly on Cleopatra, a calculated move to seize her national wealth. The clash pitted Cleopatra's massive, heavily armored Egyptian polyremes, ships built to serve as floating artillery platforms, against Octavian's nimble, fast Roman Liburnians. This tactical map reveals Agrippa commanding smaller ships to drive a wedge into the weakened Egyptian center, breaking their defensive line. Realizing the battle was lost, Cleopatra executed a calculated maneuver, breaking through the chaos with her 60 ships toward the Ambracian Gulf. She was explicitly preserving the royal treasury loaded aboard her flagship. By removing the capital from the battle, she ensured the state survived to continue the fight from a fortified position. Roman historians described this move as an act of feminine cowardice. However, from a military perspective, the retreat was a logical tactical withdrawal. She successfully extracted her nation's wealth from a losing engagement to preserve the possibility of future resistance. Following his victory, Octavian, soon to become the Emperor Augustus, faced a severe narrative dilemma. He needed to justify a brutal civil war against fellow Romans and legitimize his subsequent dismantling of the Roman Republic. His solution was a massive state-sponsored propaganda campaign. He commissioned the era's greatest poets to completely rewrite the historical reality of the queen he had just defeated. They intentionally stripped away her regal titles and omitted any mention of her intellect or administrative skill, reducing her to a caricature of an irrational, dangerous Eastern menace. Today, modern empirical archaeology is systematically dismantling that 2,000-year-old literary assassination. This architectural cutaway shows the immense scale of the 1.3-kilometer subterranean rock tunnel recently uncovered beneath the temple ruins at Osiris Magna, demonstrating her deep integration into traditional Egyptian religious structures. But the most direct counter-narrative to the Roman myth comes from numismatics, the study of ancient coins. Her bronze currency actively blended the traditional Greek melon hairstyle with the headdress of the Egyptian goddess Isis. She utilized this currency as mass-distributed propaganda, legitimizing her authority to multiple distinct demographics simultaneously. Victorious empires write the history books, but the physical evidence left behind reveals an unparalleled statesman, economist, and diplomat. Cleopatra achieved a historical immortality that ultimately outlasted the Roman Empire that defeated her.